We are counting down the 17 most profitable plants you can grow, crops that turn backyards into gold mines and shatter the rules of traditional farming. From herbs harvested in weeks to underground ventures that can net 6 figures per acre, these entries range from lightning-fast cash crops to legendary rarities. Some require just dirt and grit, others need years of patience and a touch of obsession. Which plant tops the ranking for sheer dollar potential? Let's begin with number 17. Gourmet garlic flips the script on farming. Specialty hardneck varieties like Romanian red can fetch $16 per pound when sold direct to chefs or at farmers markets. 1 pound of seed garlic gives you 40 to 60 new plants, and each bulb matures in just 3 months of active growth after winter. Plant in the fall, harvest by early summer, and you are holding a crop that is low maintenance, high demand, and fits in a backyard bed. With minimal space and simple curing, even first-time growers can turn a small patch into serious cash, and no giant tractor or acres are required. Elderberries have quietly become a powerhouse for small growers. These hardy shrubs start producing fruit by the 3rd year and keep going for up to 20 years. What changed the game? Immune-boosting claims sent demand for elderberry syrups and gummies soaring, with U.S. retail sales now topping $320 million a year. 1 acre can yield 3,000 to 4,000 pounds of berries, grossing between $8,000 and $18,000 wholesale. But the real money is in value-added products. Processed berries can double or triple profits. Grower co-ops in Missouri helped small farms scale up, proving that a few rows of elderberry can anchor a long-term, high-margin business. Chives turn a tiny herb bed into a money machine. This hardy perennial can be cut again and again, regrowing fast after each harvest. In peak season, growers report up to 16,000 pounds per acre, meaning even a small plot can bring in serious cash. At $8 to $12 per pound, that is $64,000 to $128,000 per acre potential. Chefs and restaurants snap up fresh chives for garnish and flavor, keeping demand steady year-round. First harvest comes just 30 days after transplanting, and with minimal space or fuss, chives reward growers who focus on intensive management and direct sales. Basil turns a countertop or spare room into a moneymaker. Fresh culinary basil fetches $50 to $60 per pound at farmers markets. The first harvest comes in just 3 to 4 weeks after planting. With strong LED lights and simple hydroponic setups, growers can produce basil year-round, indoors or out. Each plant bounces back after cutting, giving multiple harvests from a single round of seed. Chefs and restaurants keep demand steady in every season, making basil a favorite for small-scale growers who want quick returns and minimal risk of disease. It's a fast, high-value crop that thrives in controlled environments. Bamboo flips the nursery model into a high-dollar, low-acreage business. Container-grown bamboo plants move for around $30 each, and a quarter acre packed with 2,500 saleable pots can gross up to $75,000. The real trick is inventory. Young plants take 2 to 4 years to reach marketable size, so growers stagger plantings and overwinter stock to keep the pipeline full. Overhead runs higher than herbs, including irrigation, pots, and labor. But once established, bamboo is a perennial asset. Landscapers, gardeners, and homeowners all hunt for specialty varieties, making bamboo a steady, scalable cash crop for growers willing to play the long game. Cut flowers transform small plots into full-time income. 1 acre planted with zinnias, sunflowers, and peonies can gross $25,000 to $50,000 a year. Optimized operations see over $100,000. Local bouquets fetch premium prices for their freshness and fragrance, far above imported competition. Growers use succession planting to keep beds blooming week after week, filling regular subscriptions and wedding orders. The real magic comes from service, arranging, delivering, and customizing for events. Labor is high, but so are the rewards, with a steady stream of customers who value unique, seasonal flowers grown just down the road. Goji berries ride the wave of the superfood boom, but behind the hype is a drought-tolerant shrub that thrives in full sun and poor soil. Fresh goji berries don't travel well, so nearly all the profit comes from drying, because it takes 5 pounds of fresh fruit to make 1 pound of dried. That's why dried organic goji berries sell for $20 or more per pound, with health stores and supplement makers snapping up every batch. Each acre can produce up to 7,000 pounds of fresh berries by year 3, and trellising the plants makes harvest and airflow easier. Demand still runs ahead of supply, and once established, these tough shrubs keep producing for years, giving growers a steady foothold in the health food market. Oyster mushrooms turn an empty garage or spare room into a high-output mini-farm. A 500-square-foot fruiting room with vertical racks stacked tight can produce up to 12,000 pounds of mushrooms each year. Wholesale prices range between $6 and $8 per pound, while retail sales to restaurants or markets can reach $15 per pound. The production cycle runs just 6 to 8 weeks from inoculation to harvest. Substrate costs are low, using pasteurized straw or sawdust blocks, and the main requirements are high humidity, steady fresh air exchange, and basic zoning compliance. For small growers, this crop delivers industrial cash flow from a footprint smaller than most basements. Shiitake mushrooms bring a different kind of premium to the table. Log-grown shiitakes raised outdoors on oak or beach command $14 to $26 per pound at farmers markets and specialty grocers, often double the price of bulk-grown oyster mushrooms. The catch is patience. Each log needs a full year to incubate before the first flush. But once established, 1,000 logs can yield 20 to 50 pounds per week in peak season. Indoor sawdust blocks speed production, but they rarely match the flavor or price of log-grown shiitake. For growers willing to wait, shiitake offers steady sales and a loyal, chef-driven market. Microgreens flip the profit equation for small growers. These tiny, nutrient-packed shoots sell for $20 to $50 a pound and go from seed to harvest in as little as 7 days. A single rack, just 60 square feet, can yield 50 pounds every 2 weeks, translating to best-case monthly profits of $30 to $50 per square foot. Startup costs are low: a few trays, some soil or mats, and quality seed. Waste is almost zero if you match production to steady buyers like chefs and health stores. With cycles measured in days, microgreens offer the fastest turnaround and the highest dollar per foot returns in all of farming. Bonsai trees turn patience and skill into profit, no matter how little land you have. A seedling that costs less than $1 can, with years of careful pruning and wiring, transform into a living sculpture worth $75 or more. Rare, old specimens sometimes fetch thousands of dollars from collectors online. The real investment is time and attention. Shaping branches, repotting, and watching value grow as the tree matures. Species like juniper, pine, and maple are popular for their resilience and beauty. With demand driven by hobbyists and decorators worldwide, bonsai proves that knowledge and artistry can out-earn acreage. Lavender fields do more than fill the air with fragrance. They fill farm ledgers with cash from every direction. 1 acre in full bloom can yield around 12,000 bouquets, each selling for $10 or more. But the story doesn't end with fresh flowers. Lavender's real power is in stacking revenue, essential oil for soaps and lotions, dried bundles for crafts. Even you pick events that draw crowds and charge admission. The plants thrive on sun and dry soil, shrugging off drought and disease, and keep producing for over a decade. For growers who mix farm visits with value-added products, lavender turns a patch of ground into a perennial income engine. Lion's mane mushrooms have exploded from a chef's secret to a health food sensation, and the numbers behind them are hard to ignore. Fresh lion's mane sells for $13 $13 to $22 per pound at farmers markets and specialty grocers, with some direct-to-customer sales hitting $24. But the real story is in the yield. A small climate-controlled grow room can push out 10 to 18 pounds per square foot per year, and in the hands of an expert that can hit 20 pounds or more. That means a single rack, just a few feet wide, can produce hundreds of pounds annually, all from sterilized hardwood sawdust blocks mixed with wheat bran or soy hulls. Lion's mane is not just a culinary mushroom. Its reputation as a brain booster has pushed demand for powders, capsules, and tinctures into overdrive. Dried lion's mane is worth $30 to $60 per pound retail, and supplement-grade powders can reach $100 per pound equivalent once processed and bottled. That is why so many small growers are adding dehydrators and grinders to their setups, turning every extra pound into shelf-stable product for the wellness market. The fresh-to-dry conversion is steep. 10 pounds fresh yields about 1 pound dry, but the price jump can make it worth the effort, especially for growers who build relationships with herbalists or local supplement brands. Growing lion's mane takes more finesse than oyster or shiitake mushrooms. The blocks need to be sterilized and kept at 60 to 70 degrees Fahrenheit with high humidity and constant fresh air. If carbon dioxide gets too high, the mushrooms deform and lose value. Each block produces its first flush in about 2 weeks, and most growers discard the block after the second harvest to keep quality up and disease risk down. Managing the climate is not negotiable. Too dry and the delicate spines shrivel, too little air and you get shaggy, unsellable blobs. But for growers who dial in the details, lion's mane delivers a double punch. Steady sales to chefs and markets, plus high-margin products for the supplement shelf. That combination puts it firmly in the top 5 for small-scale profit potential. Ginseng is the long game of profitable plants, a forest crop that tests patience and rewards it like almost nothing else. American wild simulated ginseng, grown beneath hardwood canopies in the eastern US and Canada, fetches $300 to $800 per pound for mature, dried roots. The real prize comes only after years of waiting. Roots must grow for at least 5 years to be legally exported, and the highest prices go to those who wait 8, even 10 years. In the right woodland, a single acre managed for 6 or more years can in theory gross around $200,000, but that is the best-case scenario. High mortality from disease, rodents, and weather is part of the deal, and the woods are never truly safe. Poaching is a constant threat. Older roots with their telltale neck scars are magnets for illegal diggers who slip onto private land, especially in states like West Virginia, Kentucky, and North Carolina. Wildlife officers run undercover stings and confiscate hundreds of pounds of stolen roots every year. For legal growers, the rules are strict. Every root must be tracked, buyers and exporters licensed, and harvests timed to state and federal seasons. The U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service enforces CIT's regulations, requiring all wild simulated roots to be at least 5 years old for export, with some states setting even higher minimums. Even with all the hurdles, the economics can dwarf almost any field crop. A single pound of 10-year-old wild simulated root can be worth more than an entire truckload of corn. But there's no shortcut. Ginseng is a test of patience, knowledge, and trust in the forest. Only those willing to wait and protect their investment from both disease and human hands see the true payoff. For those who succeed, a patch of shade can become a hidden savings account, quietly compounding in value year after year. Saffron stands alone as the world's most expensive spice, with top-grade threads fetching up to $5,000 per pound. But behind that price tag is a staggering labor bottleneck that no machine has managed to solve. Each saffron crocus blooms for just a few days each fall. Every flower holds only 3 tiny crimson stigmas, the part that becomes saffron. To make a single pound, you need to pick and process 75,000 flowers, all by hand, and all within a window so short that a single rainstorm can wipe out a year's work. The harvest starts at dawn. Workers move quickly, collecting blossoms before the sun heats up and damages the delicate threads. Once the flowers are picked, each stigma must be separated by hand from the petals and yellow styles. Even with practiced hands, a person can process maybe 1,500 to 2,000 flowers an hour. At that rate, it takes about 160 to 200 hours of focused labor to produce just 1 pound of dried saffron. There is no shortcut. Attempts at mechanization have always led to lower quality and lower prices. The numbers are both breathtaking and sobering. A quarter acre of mature saffron can produce enough flowers for 1 to 2 pounds each season, assuming ideal weather and enough hands to keep up with the bloom. Each corm, the bulb-like planting stalk, multiplies every year, slowly expanding the planting without needing to buy more. But the real limit is not land or seed. It is time and skilled labor during those critical harvest days. Miss a morning and the flowers wilt, the stigmas lose color and aroma, and the price plummets. This is why saffron commands such a premium. It is not just rare, it is rare because every thread is a product of human effort, not machinery. For small growers who can organize the labor and hit the top retail markets, saffron represents the ultimate trade of sweat for gold. But the bottleneck is real, and it is why this crop, despite its price, remains a specialty for those ready to work harder in a few weeks than most crops require in a year. Truffles are the ultimate patience crop, underground fungi that can quietly out-earn most luxury goods, but only for those willing to risk years of uncertainty and 5-figure investments. The black Perigord truffle, Tuber melanosporum, sells for $300 to $1,000 per pound, sometimes more for perfect specimens in the dead of winter. But the path to those numbers is lined with hard choices and long waits. The process starts with inoculated tree seedlings, usually hazelnut or oak, each one carrying the microscopic beginnings of a future harvest. These young trees are planted in carefully prepared ground. Soil pH must be nudged up to 7.5 or higher, with heavy applications of lime, and drainage has to be perfect. Even a small orchard demands a serious budget, $15,000 to $30,000 per acre for trees, irrigation, fencing, and soil amendments. That is before a single truffle is ever found. For the first 5 to 7 years, there is nothing to do but maintain the orchard and hope the biology is quietly working below the surface. Weeds are kept in check, irrigation systems are monitored, and every fall growers watch for the first sign that the truffle fungus has taken hold. A faint burnt ring of grass at the base of the tree, sometimes called a brûlé. But there is no guarantee. More than half of North American truffle orchards never reach commercial yields. Mistakes in soil preparation, drought, or contamination by wild fungi can wipe out years of investment. If luck and skill align, the moment of truth comes with a trained dog nosing the ground and signaling the unmistakable scent of ripe truffle. The first harvest is often small, sometimes just a handful of knobby aromatic fungi worth hundreds of dollars. But a mature, successful orchard can yield 35 to 80 pounds of truffles per acre each year, with production lasting for decades if the trees stay healthy. The payoff, when it comes, is real. Annual revenue of $40,000 to $100,000 per acre is possible, but only after years of sunk cost and constant care. Truffles are not a crop for the impatient or the faint of heart. They demand capital, meticulous management, and a willingness to wait through seasons of uncertainty. But for those who succeed, a hidden fortune grows just below the surface, waiting to be found by a dog's nose and a farmer's persistence. Real wasabi is prized for its rarity and value, fetching $80 to $160 per pound for fresh rhizomes. Theoretically, yields can reach 20,000 pounds per acre, but only under near-perfect conditions, with cold, clean, flowing water, deep shade, and meticulous care. Most growers outside Japan struggle to meet even a fraction of that. Disease, heat, and water quality can threaten entire crops. Wasabi takes 18 to 24 months to mature, and any misstep can mean total loss. Methods are closely guarded. Successful growers treat their greenhouse systems and water chemistry as secrets. Over 90% of what is called wasabi in North America is actually horseradish dyed green. Authentic wasabi is so scarce that chefs pay a premium to serve the real thing, but only direct sales bring top prices. Wholesale offers far less. The risk is immense. Every factor must be controlled, and most attempts end in failure. For the few who succeed, a greenhouse of real wasabi becomes a tightly held fortune, the result of years of trial, error, and relentless precision. Across all 17 crops, one pattern stands out. Knowledge and niche markets can earn more than acreage and machinery. It is not about the land you have, it is the value you create per square foot. These high-profit plants prove that ingenuity, not scale, is the future of farming. The next agricultural revolution might just start in your backyard. Which one would you try? Let us know in the comments below.